When the body was discovered, police believed the case would be simple. A male corpse lay at the bottom of a shallow ravine, partially covered by fallen leaves and dirt, as if nature itself had tried to hide the truth. The wallet found in the jacket identified the victim immediately, and notifications were sent out before the sun had fully risen. A name, an age, a life, everything appeared to fit neatly into place. But from the very first hour, something felt wrong. The fingerprints matched the ID, yet the face did not resemble recent photographs. Officers dismissed it as natural decay, but a forensic technician quietly noted that the bone structure appeared different. The teeth were in better condition than medical records suggested. Even the height was slightly off. Individually, these details meant nothing. Together, they formed a quiet unease. The family identified the body with hesitation. Grief clouded certainty, yet something in their eyes betrayed doubt. The man before them looked familiar, but not fully theirs. His scars were missing. A childhood injury left no mark. Still, they signed the papers, trusting the process, believing the system would not be wrong. The autopsy shattered that trust. Internal organs showed no trace of the surgery the victim had undergone years earlier. No implants, no surgical scarring. The blood type matched, but the DNA did not. At first, lab technicians assumed contamination. Tests were repeated. Results remained unchanged. The body did not belong to the man everyone believed it was. Panic spread quietly through the department. Official records now conflicted with physical evidence. If this body was not the victim, then where was the real one? And more disturbingly, who was this person, carrying another man's identity into death? Detectives retraced the victim's last known movements. Surveillance footage showed him entering a bus station 3 weeks before the body was found. He never appeared leaving. No ticket records, no financial activity. It was as if he had vanished mid-existence, leaving behind only his name. Meanwhile, missing persons databases revealed something chilling. Across multiple states, unidentified bodies had been found carrying legitimate IDs each, belonging to someone still alive or later reported missing. The cases were never linked. They were dismissed as errors, coincidences, paperwork failures. Until now, forensic specialists began to consider the unthinkable. Someone was planting bodies, not to fake deaths, but to erase identities. The bodies were real people, but their names were borrowed, repurposed, reassigned. A system designed to protect truth was being used to bury it. As pressure mounted, the case was quietly reassigned, then gradually silenced. Files were sealed. Evidence was relocated. Officers were instructed not to discuss details. Officially, the death was ruled a tragic accident. Unofficially, no one believed that. Years later, the real victim's name appeared in an immigration database. Unaged, unchanged. The record vanished within hours. No explanation was given. The body in the ravine was buried under the wrong name. The family mourned someone who was not truly theirs. And somewhere, the real victim may still be Elivor, may have become another nameless body carrying someone else's identity. This case proved something deeply unsettling. Not every body belongs to the victim, and not every death ends a life. Some only begin a disappearance. As the years passed, the case quietly dissolved into legend among investigators. New officers heard fragments of it during late-night shifts, spoken in lowered voices, never fully explained. Those who had worked it avoided details, not because they forgot, but because remembering raised questions no one wanted to answer. The body had been buried, the paperwork finalized, yet the truth refused to stay buried with it. Forensic experts later admitted that the technology at the time was capable of identifying the mismatch, but incapable of explaining it. The DNA did not match any known database. The fingerprints, however, belonged unmistakably to the missing man. It suggested something impossible, that identity could be transferred, separated from the person who originally owned it. A private investigator who briefly reviewed the file noticed something even more disturbing. Every document referencing the case contained subtle inconsistencies, dates that didn't align, signatures that varied slightly, evidence logs rewritten more than once. It appeared as if the record itself had been edited, not to clarify, but to confuse, as though someone wanted future readers to doubt their own understanding. Families connected to similar cases began reaching out to one another, sharing stories that felt uncomfortably familiar. Loved ones identified bodies that looked almost right, yet felt wrong in ways they couldn't explain. Scars missing, voices remembered differently, a sense that closure had been offered too quickly, before questions could form. The idea that someone could disappear while leaving a body behind challenged the very foundation of criminal investigation. Death certificates were meant to close chapters, not open new mysteries. Yet this case did both. It ended a life on paper while leaving a human being unaccounted for in reality. Even more troubling was the absence of motive. There was no ransom, no message, no demand. Whoever orchestrated the exchange of identity gained nothing visible. That made the act far more dangerous. Crimes without purpose are harder to stop because they are not driven by need only. By capability, the case now sits in a restricted archive, accessible only by request and rarely approved. On its cover is a handwritten warning added years after it was closed. Do not assume identification means resolution. No name is attached to the note. No explanation accompanies it. Some investigators believe the real victim is still alive, living under a new identity, unaware that he has already been declared dead. Others fear a darker truth that bodies are being used as placeholders, allowing certain people to vanish without trace, protected by a system that believes death is final. What remains undeniable is this. A man was buried under a name that was not his. A family grieved a body that did not belong to their loved one, and the system moved on, convinced the case was closed.